Well, hello. How are you guys? Happy Saturday to you. It is good to see y'all. Good to see you. Good to be seen and not viewed, as the old folks say. Happy Saturday to everybody. Hello, hello. I'm so glad to see you guys. I know it's been a minute. But hey, so return to the live chats and conversations. Very excited today. We've got, every time I say we've got a good one for you, and they always are. And so I'm really grateful to all of you who always tune in. In case you're new or you came on to the scene while I can't even say I was on a vacation or an IG or social media hiatus or vacation. I was just working a lot, and I'm, again, really excited to share with you guys what I've been working on. Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm going to let you in a second, Madam Guest, today. She's so phenomenal. But anyway, so if you are new to the platform and the Graham fam here with me, once a month I do these live conversations through my health and wellness brand, Refresh by KF. And yes, we do have merch coming very soon. And so we, somebody said, not the viewing. Yes, not the viewing. Always got to be seen. But anyway, guys, I really love being in the health and wellness space and being able to utilize, as they say, the platform, the microphone, to be able to, hey girl, hey, wait a minute, y'all, back this thing up. Benita Hamilton is in the building. Happy to see you, Sister Benita Hamilton, because that not only means that you are here, but I know that you are here in between shows. She is one of the stars of Lion King on Broadway, and we are so thrilled that Broadway is back. So hello to all of our Broadway friends and family, and just so glad that you all are back. Just so glad that you all are back. Yes, Upshaw's coming soon. So anyway, back to Refresh by KF. And for those of you who are going, what's that? So this is, as I said, my health and wellness brand. And every month we do a live chat. Subscribe to us at refreshbykf.com. You can follow us here at Refresh by KF. And it's we tend to do health and wellness. Real talk, a little different with a little Kim Phil swag on it. So I think you guys would enjoy it. So glad to see you all. Today we have been talking all month about, Bonita says she's in the show right now. We real special. Girl, wait a minute. I might just drop you in the building for a second. Let's see if she answers while she's in her dressing room on at the theater in Lion King. Let's see if she's gonna answer with her Lion King makeup. Oh, there she is. Ginger, I promise you I'm gonna get into the room. But hi, Benita Hamilton.
You are so silly.
Star.
You're so funny. Cut it out.
That's a Broadway star right there. She on the Broadway, y'all. She on the Great White Way with her Lion King.
The Great Bright Way.
The Great Bright Way. Sorry, yes, they done changed all that and got, yeah. What'd you say?
You see her?
Who was her?
That's Shenzi, my puppet.
Lord, that sure is. So she's Shenzi, y'all, on Broadway in The Lion King. Look at that. Y'all, we got a Broadway star in the building.
Girl, if you don't stop that, Kim Fields.
I'm glad to see you, sis. I'm glad to see you like this. I'm glad to see you. Yes.
18 months.
Yo was on that break for 18 months. Father God.
Father.
Yeah. Well, I know you got to go, and I got to get our guest in the room, but I had to drop you in and say hi to the peoples.
Love you. Hey, peoples. Come see a Broadway show.
Yes, absolutely. Come see a Broadway show. Absolutely, we sure will. I love you, girlie. I'll call you later. Or I know you're gonna call me in between shows after you watch what I sent you.
Absolutely.
Have a great show. Well, continue to have a great show. Oh, and guys, here's the thing. She is in the theater where my mom did Hello Dolly with Pearl Bailey in New York. And we actually think that Benita's dressing room was Mom's dressing room.
Yep.
So there's some Broadway history for you. All right, girl. I love you.
Love you more. Take care. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
girl. Bye.
Wait a minute, how I get off of here?
Love you. Bye.
Hey.
Okay. Well, how about that little part? I don't know what she said. Okay. So that was just a nice little surprise that we had right there. Yeah, she's a beast. Benita Hamilton Caesar. So look at that. Y'all got a little taste of Broadway. There you go. So again, you can follow Refresh. You can subscribe. We do amazing stuff. Just we stay engaged with you. One of my things is that I didn't want people to ever feel like they got dropped off, like they get, all excited to revive and refresh and renew and and do all of that, and then it's like, okay, now what? Or you get into that rhythm and that groove and you're on fire, and then like a couple of weeks later you're just like, okay, I need some help in this thing. So that's a lot of what we want to do and what we have been doing with Refresh. So again, if you don't already follow us, jump out of here, follow us, jump back in, and you'll be good to go. So today and all month long, guys, we've been talking about self-reflection. And I know you like, ooh, wait a minute, that's too deep. I don't want to. But listen, here's the thing. Number one, we ain't gonna get too deep about it because I'm too tired to get too deep right now. However, we've been. Hi, Jamel Simon, my son from the Upshaws, because I was a teen mom on the Upshaws, is in the room. Hi, honey, and he's a dear friend to Refresh. He's a wonderful guy. But with self-reflection, we wanted to talk about where should we go to follow Refresh. Look right there at that comment. See, that's pinned. It says follow us at Refresh by KF. So you can follow us there, but also refreshbykf.com. Okay. And so we've been talking about how to self-reflect, and with self-care Saturdays, self-care weekends, and sometimes we try to take a little piece of weekends for ourselves. And there were any more Christmas movies. Shh, I'll tell you later. And so when we look at how to self-reflect, again, sometimes it's like, I don't want to do that because it's not just why it's important, but how to do it is also important. And being able to self-reflect in a way that is healthy and where it's without judgment. You're not self-judging. You're not looking at, reflecting on the week, the day, the month, the year, the 5 years, the 3 years, the decade, whatever it is that you look at in your life, and you go, oh, I wish I was this. I didn't get to do this. And we end up being unkind to ourselves. We end up being, so judgmental, and we're not kind, and we're very hard on ourselves. Come on, it's too early for this. Let me get Ginger Zee in the room, please. Ginger Zee is oh, she's amazing. She is one of my dear friends. We met during she was there guest hosting on The View once, and
Mwah.
hi, gorgeous.
That's the thing. You got to feel. You got to let it out and let it in.
It's too early for that. That's why I barely wore any makeup. So
As you were saying that, I was thinking about the word reflection. But reflection means it happened. You turn, you look, you remember, you try to work through it. And I think it's almost more about transparency, right? It's about that, allowing the transparent, allowing yourself to feel it as it's happening, so that you don't have to go reflect. That would be the goal. It's very difficult to do.
You're right.
But
Right. Well, everybody,
nice
again, please welcome my dear, beautiful sister friend Ginger Zee into the house. Ginger and I, as I was saying, we didn't even remember. We made such an impact on ourselves. We didn't even remember meeting the first time we met. When
it was that good,
sitting in at the View, and I happened to be on that day. But we for real met in a game changing moment, I think, for both of us when we did Dancing with the Stars in 2016. And we've just been I just adore her and all that she is and all the different hats that she wears. And of course, the fact that she really does contribute to how most of us start our day and start our mornings, because she is, of course, just one of the brightest spots in the universe, but certainly on GMA, on Good Morning America. And she gets to work with two other favorite people of mine, Robin and Michael. So love and hugs to them. And the GMA crew, they're just so wonderful. She's a beautiful, beautiful mom and wife, a tremendous author, meteorologist. She's a self-proclaimed nerd, but I don't believe that. But
it's true. It's, you know what my husband always says? Because I get something, I call like a couple of different magazines. One of them is Physics Today. Another one's a meteorology magazine. He always calls out, "Hey, your Geek Weekly arrived."
I love Ben. He's so great. So thanks for jumping on. We've been, Ginger and I have been trying to have this moment happen for several months now. So glad that it was able to work out. And so Ginger, like you were already diving in about self-reflection.
Yeah.
And, you know, my thing so much is not that it's important, but how. Y'all know that we couldn't do this. Come on, you can say hi.
Hi.
There's
Hi,
Auntie
Quincy.
Ginger.
Hi. How you doing?
Good.
Then what do you say?
How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I see bunk beds right there. Do you know my boys are the biggest fans of bunk beds? They've only slept in them once, and they ask every day if we could find some bunk beds.
Gotcha. I'll tell you where these came from. Yes, whatever it is, the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's all, okay, I'm taking the car. I'm back.
Right. You know what though? He's got IG Live radar. It's like he just knows, and he has to come and say hello. But he heard it was you, and really had to come say hi. So self-reflecting and how we do it and why to do it. And so it's kind of a two-part thing that I wanted to go over with you today. The importance of it. Chris told me once years ago. He said, "You can't worry and remember at the same time." You can't worry about what's going to happen and remember what God has already done for you. And, you know, we are people of faith. And so being able to, we meaning my family, I ain't speaking for you. And so having that sense of, you know, how to self-reflect and why we do it. So for me, I know it's important. Sometimes people say to take stock.
Yeah.
Do you find that is helpful? And especially because we're on the move, we're on the go, we're a career, we do all these different things. So do you find that sometimes that element of taking stock is important in your process?
No question. I mean, I do it every day. I start my day with it. And a lot of people, you know, you'll do these and people will watch and people will say, well, you got to get a journal and you have to do this. And I think that's helpful. And I think it depends on who you are and how you do it. For me, the best way was to wake up. And the first thing I do is I get in the shower. I mean, that's a pretty normal thing for people to do. But while I'm in that shower, I use that time as meditative or reflective time. And, you know, we have glass on this, and it gets all steamy. And every day I put things that I am grateful for on one wall. They always include my boys. So I'll make these little footprints. I don't know if you've ever done that. You can make a little footprint with the heel of your hand.
No.
Yeah. It's very simple. Like,
come on, steam crafter.
Right?
What can't you do?
I'm DIYing, and no, it's very simple. But the repetition or the process of it, of the thought of it, to put that, when people say you put the intention, you put it up. So I do the boys. I do a hand for each, myself and my husband. And then in the middle of that, and I'll put us in a heart. I know it sounds super, but it becomes repetitive and very helpful. Then I will surround it with words. And it could be everything from, you know, a good foot cream, but, you know, like, or something as simple as that, to something real deep that I wake up feeling, you know, like my grandmother and the relationship we had, you know, so it could be a little bit of anything. And then I'll turn And I'll use most of it for reflection and for gratitude. And then I'll turn to the other wall while I'm in the shower and I'll really put the intention on the day. So I'll just kind of, now this is the best part, is that steam goes away. My husband tries so hard to tell what I wrote on the wall. He's like, "Did you write me today?" I'm like, "Check." But it is the easiest and simplest way to get my day started without having that, like I don't have to sit down at a desk and do the thing, because we are on the move. So finding those small habits that build that gratitude or reflection in has helped me immensely. So that's how, that's a good start. Yeah.
That's an excellent start. Now, you travel a lot, sis. Don't go doing that in hotels and then next person that checks in is all creeped out.
I do it. I do it in the hotel.
What? Or footprints. Keep that little nugget in your house, okay?
Okay.
No, that's wonderful, and it's so important, because to me, one of the reasons in terms of why to self-reflect is, I think sometimes when we're in real time, we can get bogged down with what we don't have, what we need, where we aren't, rather than where we are. There's different, and I'm not talking about people who, are pessimistic and they just always, the glass is half empty. I'm in glass half full, overflowing, and all of that type folks that'll still go, "Oh man, I'm not here," when you assess and stuff like that. And so sometimes for me, self-reflection is important because it helps you take stock, of what's important, not just what you have, but what's important. It's does it have a way to help you prioritize?
Yes. And I think, when I grew up a person of faith as well. So in our prayers, I was taught that you thank first. You always thank for what you have, for what you've been given. And it's interesting, as I go through life, and my spirituality, I think, just explodes in the best way, that it becomes part of, that's what meditation is. It's all kind of structured in that way. And so wherever you find it and put it, and really it's about just making it part of the day so that the week doesn't get away. And I always say this about mental health, but gratitude and self-reflection is just like this. They are the same as physical health. You can't just go and get really good at this, and you did 6 months and I did a lot of footprints and I'm feeling good, and then I just stop and expect it all to stay the same. You have to find those moments in I think daily, certainly weekly, just like you would have to go to the gym. And I think about it like that too, that if you prioritize, so prioritizing these reflective moments, mental health, meditative, prayer, whatever it is for you that gets you there, even over physical health. I know that sounds wild, but I think that gets you to the physical health. It is the foundation. Our mind and our spirit
very much so.
is the foundation of all of it. And our, societally, we have been so good about being like, you got to get to the gym. You have to eat right. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I think we had it flipped this whole time. We definitely have. And we put so much money, energy, attention on physical health. But that if you put it on all that other stuff, all the rest of it comes, and it just becomes
everything
part
else
of it.
Falls in line. Everything else follows. When you are in all that you do, meaning pretty much 5 days a week, of course, GMA at dark 30, and then you go to weekends, you're usually somewhere, and heaven help us if we're, out of whack weather-wise. Someone actually said, it's good to see you and you're not in a storm right now. They're just glad to see you like this. And then you end up having all these things going on. I know you said you start your day, but going a little bit beyond that, so that it becomes a part of all the hats that you wear and all the things that you're doing.
I think that's the other part. I don't know that I'm expert at any of this, but one thing that I've been trying to do is finding those moments even in conversation or in moments of, okay, this could be a frustrating or anger provoking moment. And my husband would say, even when he met me, I'm very even keeled, I would say. I don't express it, but that doesn't mean that I'm not feeling it. I'm like a sheltered feeler, right? So I'll like shove it all down, and I'm getting much better at being able to allow those moments to happen. I allow myself to feel it. So say something is frustrating, let's use it as an example, or I feel threatened at work or something like that, where, uh-oh, what could this mean for my future? I do that checklist every single day where I ask myself, will I remember this a year from now? And almost never. And I say that to myself 12 times a day. If I think I'll remember, and I don't have a great memory, so I don't remember a lot. And if I think I'll remember that a year from now, I'll allow myself to put some energy to it. I'll allow myself to say, okay, let's feel it, let's let it rush through. And then I will, and this is the new thing that I'm so not expert at, I'll take more than just a beat and I'll think about it before I think about what the next step is. And that is reflection. And that's the part that, we can both, it's good for us and it's good for the other people who might be on the receiving end of it.
Baby.
You never know how that's going to go. And I've had a couple of pretty big ones the last few weeks. And it's so nice to be able to have a team. I always call it a team because my partner and my husband is important, but he can't take it all. He can't be it all.
No.
And so you need the team, whether that's God for you, your partner, and your children, and I've got, thankfully, I still have my mom. I've got my therapist. I have who I call, we say children can't grow up without a village. Either can we.
Listen, I am always saying
it
takes a village. It takes a village to raise Kim Fields. And I'm always talking about my village. Always. So definitely.
So those are those moments I take.
Let's shift a bit into how we reflect, because, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes we get to that moment of, okay, this is a good moment, or I'm setting a routine, or I'm in a routine of doing the self-reflecting, but then sometimes we can derail ourselves or sabotage our own self-reflecting. We get in our heads. Oh my gosh, we get in our heads. We get in our own way. By letting negativity creep in, the enemy creep in. I've seen tons of T-shirts. Not today, Satan. So how do you combat those moments where your self-reflection can go left on you?
I don't know that this is the healthiest either, but I think it is for me. So I will get into that, and I can use an example. I was with my producer, Dan Manzo, and we were driving from Houston after one of the storms was moving, and we were moving with it. It was Nicholas. And as it was headed up toward Louisiana, we had 7 hours in the car together. And I found myself doing what I do. And I know Dan very well, so I'll say dealt with me, but he's part of the village. He's part of the team that makes everything come together. And I found myself 2 hours in rapidly trying to go down this spiral, really, because I was reacting to something that was happening versus taking a pause, reflecting, taking another pause, and probably doing it right. And I got to a point where I looked up from my phone after I was just talking to him, and I'm caffeinated. I'm like this. And I said, who else do I have to prove myself to today? And then I realized, I was like, that is not a good thing that I just, hold on. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I have to prove myself to myself. If I think that I'm proving myself to somebody else over and over and over, and I mean, it was a bit of a joke, but there's a lot of serious, what is it? Half of jokes are serious.
Are truths,
In that moment, I took a breath and I told him, I'm sorry for the last 2 hours, whatever just happened. I know we got a lot done. I know I can push myself and push others, but I think here's where we going forward. I need a little mind break. And so because he's driving and we weren't going to sit there and meditate, I said to him, what's something you know nothing about and you want to know something more about, to divert my mind, but also to probably give us both something that was just, and he said, Bitcoin. I said, you know what, me too. I have no idea what that is. But listen,
Yeah.
so like taking in that moment was then productive, but it was a good hour of a
Mm-hmm.
pause. And when I was done, still
Mm-hmm.
not understanding Bitcoin, an hour later, but I still had my energy put somewhere else and laid it down for a second. I was able to reflect on
Mm-hmm.
what had happened
Mm.
prior, and it was such a healthier 3-4 hours and then beyond that because of that. And I've
Yeah.
learned to do that a little bit more because I'm obsessed with being productive, and there's a problem with that too, like a lot of people are, but that is where I find joy. I don't feel like a day is well spent unless I've got it done, got it done, got it done, got it done. And that's something that a podcast is really good for, because
Yeah.
it's productive, but it's sit and think and in a different way, and so
Yeah.
I'm slowly trying to find those ways. In that weirdest
Mm-hmm.
way, listening to something new that took me out of my mind was
Mm-hmm.
was reflective, and it was meditative. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that was that's not a probably as useful for everybody, but I do think that diversion and taking it took a pause. That's all. That's the
Yeah,
most important part.
absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, it's yours, but
Hmm.
the sharing of it, because
Yeah.
whether somebody takes all of that and applies it, or they find pieces where they can apply it, it's really good.
Mm.
What really struck me was how you positioned it, so that it came to me about reflecting versus reacting.
Hmm. Big.
Reflecting versus reacting. You said take a breath, and I appreciate that. And that's one of the things, because you and I are our souls are always twinning.
Yep. I saw you nodding.
Always.
You said, "Oh, so you like to produce?" Is what? Oh, wait, that's right. You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard your thing. You're saying, I got the upshaws. I have this. I directed these two shows. Well, that other show I directed too. And I'm like, I know her.
Exactly. But that sense of take a breath,
Hmm.
before you react. A dear friend to the Refresh brand and to me personally is the mindfulness coach, Corey Mascara. And one of the things that Corey was teaching us about last year was that space that you have before reacting. And in that space, if
Hmm.
from stimulation to reaction,
Hmm.
and that breath, because that breath can help you from snatching somebody up,
Hmm.
from nutting up and just going off on folks, from from giving yourself a hard time and not being kind to yourself. That moment between stimulation and reacting can save a person's life sometimes,
Yeah.
in terms of that spiritual warfare that we can have sometimes. So I definitely hear you and appreciate that when you're talking about having that moment, and you end
Hmm.
up reflecting
Hmm.
before you react. And sometimes it's that sense of, let me think about how this can go. It's like in those TV shows and movies where
Hmm.
somebody will daydream about what they want to say, and then they
Yes.
cut back to them and they're like,
Yes.
okay, let me not do it that way.
It's the email. It's the email you never send. Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly,
I have a
exactly.
I have a whole drafts box. It's really big. It's but really it's funny because it's changing as I get older, but I do think that when I look about the other thing that is interesting about, and I'm sure half the people watching, half people are people who would go off on the person and need to take that pause and reflect. A
Hmm.
lot of times mine was to turn inward and take out that frustration and anger on myself, however that
Yeah.
would have come out. And
Hmm.
what I learned in this one meditation practice for me was so helpful is they described emotions as a river. And you've heard this probably a lot of times, but they're flowing, and they're gonna flow because that's what emotions do. Some
That's what
people
they do.
choose, yeah, some people choose to just kind of dip a toe in. Some people dive all the way in, get taken out with the river. And some people, like myself, love to get in a helicopter, fly way above them, and be like, oh, those look nice, and never even get close to smelling or touching or being anywhere in them. And so that's the other thing in those moments, not in the car in that moment, but I can think of others where I think before I go up in my helicopter, I take a pause and I say, and I ask myself, is this the time to go to a helicopter? Do you need to be that, or can you kind of stick around and hang out here? No part of me is ever probably going to get washed away, but, and there are days where it doesn't feel like a river. It feels like a lava flowing fast. And it's,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. So that's something I think a lot about too. I put my mind puts that in a physical sense so I can think about it, and I'll ask myself, is this going to matter a year from now? Is it lava or a river, and where should I be in this? How much should I touch? So
yeah, you know what, I find sometimes that in reflecting and assessing, really seeing what it really is, that breath somebody just put on here, being still for a moment, taking those moments. Sometimes we end up maybe overinflating something. It didn't really happen like that, but when you're playing it back, you're playing it back with all these special effects. You're playing it back with all of these extra things going on. It's like, boil all that away. In that breath, you may be able to kind of boil it down to, okay, here's what really happened, or what it is, or why that triggered a certain thing, Right. So I definitely have that same kind of sentiment, and like you said, being able to determine when I see it, how it really is, then I can determine, do I need to pull all the way back up in the helicopter? Or can I stay and navigate through this okay, without cutting somebody with this right here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And people were talking about triggers, magnifying in my mind versus truth. Yes, guys, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not going to take up much more of the Saturday for all of us, but moving forward in this idea, one thing I said in my promo video today that came on me when I was writing it was, self-reflection can also be a time where we renew our faith in ourselves. Sometimes, at least for me, I get to a place where I'm going and going and going. I'm a doer. I'm better, I think, in forward motion. I don't stay still enough. And when I do, sometimes taking stock can be painful. And again, if you can do it without judging, if you can take stock and find those teachable moments for yourself, or to reset. But going back to the main thing right now for me was restoring my faith in myself. And with that, to me, comes that extra layer of being kind to yourself.
Definitely.
Do you struggle with that?
Oh, yes. I think I'm the ultimate. That is why the word reflection is so good, because you're the one that you see in that reflection. And that's why it can be difficult to do that. I think that I've gotten better, especially after becoming a parent. I think that has helped a lot, because I see how innate that is. And I don't know how Quincy is, or how, you've been as a mom to watch his development, but I watch my oldest son, and I see so much of myself. I see him turn, his immediate is to turn inward. And
that's me and Sebastian. Sebastian's the oldest.
Right.
Yeah. He was much younger when we were doing dancing, but but Yes, that retreating.
Yes. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you get that distinction, I thought that that was something, it is a part of me. It is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was born with it, obviously. I'm watching it in my son. And then I see my other son, my younger son, and I want to be him when I grow up because it's, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
but what I've realized is that no matter what we're born with, we do have, every day we have agency, we have ability to make that the best version of who we are. And I see these
Mm-hmm.
two little boys, and there's nothing wrong with who they are or what they're doing. They're beautiful. And how much that
Yes.
has
Yes.
helped me find beauty in myself. If only I could have done
Mm-hmm.
that without an actual reflection that came out of my body, like that would have
Right.
been nice
Yes.
to
Yes.
be able
Yes.
to think about whether it's faith or whatever gets you to that place of realizing, because you don't have to have children to have that. I think if we can know
Mm-hmm.
there is such beauty inside each and
Mm-hmm.
every one of us, that
Mm-hmm.
in those moments when you start to say, beating yourself up and that wasn't good and that, I just think all the time now, there are two, I'll end with this just because I think it's so helpful and it's really gotten me, is my 5-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
he always says, I was a bad boy. And I said, no, you're not a bad boy. Like and he wants to be perfect. He uses the word perfect. We don't use the word perfect. Like, where'd you get that?
No.
I always tell him there's, there's perfect and say there's evil. Nobody is either of those things. They really aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And we all
Mm-hmm.
live somewhere between, and we're going to make mistakes and we're going to do this, but you want to live, yeah, a little bit better on the better half, but don't ever think that that is possible. And that really has helped me too, is that I'll do it to
Mm-hmm.
myself in those moments. Like, well, no kidding, Ginger. That's, if you weren't fallible, if you didn't have days that weren't everything they were meant to be and get everything done that you were, then you would not be you. And there's beauty. And I think about what my mom must see in me. And that helps, to see it.
Mm.
If you think and you start speaking the way that your friends and family speak about you to yourself, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Oh, that's good.
Mm.
That's really, really good. That that is, it's smart, and it's layering in self-kindness. We talk about self-love and self-care, but sometimes we miss, I think, the little kernel that's within all of that, which is kindness, to ourselves. And we talk
Mm-hmm.
about being kind to others and telling people to show kindness, but sometimes we don't start here.
Mm.
And to me, the place when it really can get bad, so to speak, is when you're in that still moment and you're, kind of rewinding the tape of
Yeah.
the day or the week or the month, and when you play it back, oh God, or oh, I'm not here, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't get this done. So a lot of us that have kids and still working through school
Mm-hmm.
and just what the new norms are, and just all of this, and I find, for me, I beat myself up a lot, with, sometimes we highlight our shortcomings. And I would
Mm-hmm.
submit to everyone, before you highlight and make a highlight reel of your shortcomings, or let somebody else
Mm-hmm.
make the highlight reel of the blessings.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the
Make a
grace.
highlight reel of that. Yeah.
And the grace, right? So once you've made that highlight reel, that will help you. But I think in those moments too, you just immediate reel, and the same, I said, the kindness that the words that people use for you, if you can use the grace that others use, because I don't expect as much. And that's something we're working on with my 5-year-old too, is he expects a lot out of people as well. That perfection is not just for
Mm-hmm.
him. He
Yeah.
wants every,
Yeah.
and I know that that can get you in trouble too. And I say you being me in trouble too. And that grace
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
others give to each other, if you can do with your highlight reel, which I love the
Mm.
highlight reel. Like we should make reels every day for ourselves. I think you're right.
Right.
It's a great reminder.
Right. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Grace. We were talking about Grace, Kira, who heads up my Refresh team, a couple of months ago, and we were talking about grace and how, again, it's something that we connect with for others and to others, but somehow it doesn't fit into the conversation that we have with ourselves and about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So showing yourself grace. Wrapping up, guys. Ginger, I think she started with this, the idea of reflection and that mirror. So reflection is you're seeing you. And
Mm-hmm.
so in self-reflecting, you're seeing you, and I have to admit, guys, sometimes more often than not, I don't like looking in the mirror. I don't like I'll just pass by.
Mm-hmm.
I have mastered doing my makeup without the mirror. um, and I had to look at, well, why is that? And there are things that I'm still working through without enough grace, self grace.
Mm-hmm. Because and that's the
So
wild part about,
please say
yeah,
something.
no, that's the wild part about your being here. And you have so many people, and not that but you have so many people that see the joy and the greatness. And there will be so many words that people could give you and feed you. These are the words that you put in your highlight reel today, but maybe it's not even the highlight reel because you're used to seeing yourself on tape. You're used to seeing yourself on, but it's actual in real time, in that moment of that mirror reflection. And it's practice, right? And I think that's the thing is you, just like somebody who was going to go and say, I'm going to change my life today and go work out for 2 hours, and that nobody could do that. So maybe it really is just that 1 minute in the mirror first, and then
Mm.
tomorrow it's the 1 minute and 5 seconds, and then it's because I have to say, if I'm getting to the part of the truest part of me in a mirror, it's not even that I don't like it, it's I don't know who that is. And that's maybe even scarier,
Mm-hmm.
where I've had times, I've gotten a lot better because I've worked really hard at doing this.
Yeah.
But when I look in there, I don't know which part of me that is. And I don't know what I really feel, or what I really, like what I really want, or what part of my
Mm-hmm.
doing day was the priority. And that is something too. And I don't know if that's part of what you see and what's making you feel. And that's great to feel, because that means that you're ready. You're ready to crack it open and start the
Mm-hmm.
practice of, and I think
Mm-hmm.
just get that reflection going every single day. And I'll do it too. How about we make that pact,
Yeah.
and we can work on that, because mine needs to be more like, I can look at it and I don't know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is what you're saying, but I really do see it sometimes, and I'm like, who is that woman? And who does she want to
Mm-hmm.
be? And am I doing all of these things, or whatever it is, that I'm, because I really want to? I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That part's the hardest part. That'll get me
Yeah. Yeah.
thrown.
Yeah. 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 I love you.
I love you too.
And you
Thank you for
are
doing this.
so amazing. Thank you for doing this. New book? What are you working on?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So the new book, it got publishing apparently is having a huge problem publishing wide. So it was supposed to be out in 2 weeks, but they pushed it for January.
Okay.
So January, I
Okay.
got to think about it. 12th, I think. I'll be posting about it. But yeah, that's coming out. And
Yes.
that book, if anybody watching had read my first one, it was written most on airplanes, and it got a lot of who I am at the kind of middle. This one I wrote
Mm-hmm.
in my basement during the pandemic, on my basement couch. Like, there is nothing deeper, like, I wrote it literally deeper, and
Uh-huh.
it goes
Uh-huh.
into the trauma, and the trauma is
Yeah.
the part of my life that I had not yet fully addressed, and I did during the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. People say, like, what was your pandemic hobby? I'm like, taking off old scars, open them up, write about them.
Mm.
And I
Right.
I think changing my life for real. And I had been
Yeah.
working on it the last 10 years. Mental
Uh-huh.
health has been such a big part of who I am, but I went
Yep.
so hard, and like I was talking about,
Mm.
like physical health, every day I sat there and reflected and I wrote my old stories. And that I would leave someone with. I know I was kind of flippant about journaling, but journaling, you don't have to write your own book to do it. But it is
Right.
important to
Yeah.
write that story, write the story that the one that's hard,
Yes.
write it down, go and corroborate it
Haha.
if you,
Write
yeah,
the story that's hard. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, go write it
Mm-hmm.
down. The one that
Yeah.
makes you
Yeah.
cry when you look in the mirror. What is that story?
Mm-hmm.
Start by writing that down, because the moment you've been
Mm-hmm.
transparent enough with yourself to share the real story, whether you made it a little more dramatic or not, or whatever it is, and
Right.
now the next most powerful thing I think you could do, you wrote it down. You could share it with someone who was there. You could share it with someone who wasn't. You share it with
Mm-hmm.
someone else. When you start to open that story up and then you start talking about it, then that transparency is part of the
Right.
reflection, right? Then we haven't even, and
Yeah.
then that teaches you, okay, don't wait to look in the mirror until next time. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in
Yeah.
that trauma, go. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
this book has helped me do a lot. So the trauma's not
Mm.
fun. It's not
Mm-hmm.
as light and fluffy, but there's some funny stuff in there too, and I hope that people will get a lot out of
Yeah.
it, and the hard work. And here's the other thing I love to say, like, okay, you're done. Hard work of you get healed. That's not it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you don't stay in good shape. We have to constantly be working on this stuff. Not
It's a
what anybody
process.
wants to
Yeah.
hear. It
Yeah.
is.
No, but it
Yeah.
is. It's not only is it a process, it's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lifestyle.
It,
Healing is a lifestyle. You know, you can heal one area, but then maintaining
yes.
what has been healed. It's definitely all a beautiful lifestyle, and amen. That we're all here. However, we are here.
Mm-hmm.
We're all here to do it.
Yes, we are. And I'm so fortunate to be in connection with you for this very reason. Refresh by KF is something like that means you're ready, right? You're ready for this wellness. You are in it, and you're also doing so much to help other people. So I'm grateful that you invited me on here, especially for this moment, because I think that every day we have a chance to do something new or change or abruptly get our habits out of whack. And I hope that, for me, I'm thinking about what
Mm-hmm.
I can do with this information, and I hope other people are too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the follow up that happens after this, because like I said in the intro, we never want anybody to feel dropped off, that they have this wonderful conversation. Yes, they're
No.
always saved. We edit them, and we are able to put them on YouTube, and then put clips on through our subscription base, and all of that. But we do see the needle moving in terms of impact, in
Nice.
terms of all of the people who have ever been on a live conversation. You're now part of the Refresh family. You
Mm.
are now part of our refreshing, universe. We support you. And so, guys, when, we will definitely have all the info on Ginger, how to reach her and everything, but also her books. She's not only a wonderful and transparent author about her life, but she's got wonderful children's books. And so she's
Thank you.
just a tremendous light, and a transparent light,
Yeah.
which is one of the
Thank
reasons
you.
why we gravitated, towards each other at a time that was so. It was a challenging time. Ginger had
Yes, it was.
just had, I mean, just had
Yeah.
her second baby, and
Mm-hmm.
Quincy was 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was just a lot going on, and to then be thrown into the Dancing with the Stars, mega universe, and all that was, and to go through that together was really
Mm.
great, for us. So thank you for now. You've been a part of the village since then, but I'm extra glad that you are now a part of the refreshing universe that is Refreshed by KF. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, sister.
Thank you for the
Guys,
invitation. Mwah. Giving you lots of
yes,
hugs and
give it
love
up
through
for
this.
Ginger Z. Give it up. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Love, 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 love.
Thank
Give my
y'all.
love to Ben and the kid.
I
All right,
will.
and talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was another refreshing chat. Thank you so much, Ginger, for being with us. Thank you again to my Refresh by KF team for sponsoring these really wonderful and impactful conversations. Everything starts with you. Mm-hmm. And that said, there's a lot that, will be on me, and I'll tell the Refresh team, hey, what if we talk about this? What if we talk about that? Because I always want you to know I'm right there with you. This is never, I'm up here telling you what you should be doing for health and wellness. We all in this thing together, clearly. So thank you, and thank you for the support in your comments during that time. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to everybody that has been a part of the Refresh team and our Refreshing universe. So again, you can follow us at Refresh by KF. As you self-reflect, certainly drop us a line, a DM, an email, whatever it may be, in reference to what your as I've been calling them, refresh-olution. I have been in my own refresh-olution since I launched Refresh last year. And I've always said that the refresh-olution will be socialized. So on all of our social media, we will always, kind of have that, because a lot of you, we've been ride or die since we were kids. Some of you might be new to me based on, upshaws and everything. But you've seen a lot of the evolutions and the refresh-olution now. So let's keep on keeping on. And sometimes, somebody said, why are you crying? Sometimes you may not know, and you just have to just still let it out. But when you're in transition, when you're in a sense of new things and just all that's going on. When you're leveling up, the kids play video games quite a bit. And so leveling up and how you can appreciate the process and the work, but no, it's a process, and there's work involved. Sebastian was telling me about a process he has to do to level up in some of his games, and he says, and then I have to grind and grind and grind. And I was like, well, heck, I know something about that. So we're all grinding. We're all in this thing together. We are all doing everything we can to, make sure that we stay healthy in our minds and our bodies and our spirits, to have a fantastic